Hey there, online students. This is Dr. Bureau. It is Monday, June the 12th. Welcome to the fifth week of summer classes. The big news for me this week is that on Wednesday, I'm going on vacation. My family is having a family reunion out in San Diego this next weekend. So we're going to drive out there, take about 3 days to get out there, 2 days in San Diego, 3 days back. I'm going to be gone for about 8 days total. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to be totally out of touch, but there are going to be some parameters I want you to think about. I am going to get all of my correspondence done before I go. I will not do any grading while I am gone, and then I will finish up my correspondence and finish and catch up on grading when I get back. I will check email once or twice while I'm gone, so it would be very good if you have any questions about anything coming up to email me before Tuesday end of business, and I can answer that Tuesday night. But otherwise, it may be a few days before I can respond. So just know that I won't be totally out of touch, but I won't respond as quickly as I normally do, and it'll be the middle of next week, end of next week, when I finally get everything caught up. So just wanted you to know. I hope you pray for us. We're looking forward to a great time as a family, and pray for safety along the road as well. And I hope you're getting a chance for a little vacation too, although we do have a lot of work to do, so let's dive into that without further ado. In NT 5103, we are currently finishing our work on the learning the syntax of the verb, and you'll notice that basically that involves reading Dr. Wallace's text and then taking a quiz. Be sure and review very carefully what I want you to know from Dr. Wallace's text. Basically, I want you to become familiar with it so that when you start working on the syntax guides, you can dig into it even further. Think of it as a reference tool. It's not something that you're going to read now and then put away. You're going to be using it constantly moving forward in the course. So I want you to know it and be familiar with its contents in a general sense, and then we'll get some more specific knowledge as we dig further into the syntax of the passages we're going to look at. On this quiz, note as well that you can use Dr. Wallace's text on this assignment. You can't use it for the vocabulary and verb paradigms, but you can use Dr. Wallace's text for any of the questions on grammar and syntax. So I want you to think of Dr. Wallace's tool as a reference tool we're going to use consistently and regularly, even on the quizzes and exams. That's the level of familiarity I want you to have with it at the present time. And then what you'll notice is that after Wednesday, we immediately move into working on our study guides. And this is when we teach you about the syntax of the New Testament by working through John chapter 4 and the book of Philippians. You'll notice that we have some study guides that are completed for you. Anything marked with an asterisk is already completed. Because of that, you have to do this additional translation assignment. Otherwise, the translation is within the study guide. And the whole point of these is to get you into the syntax so that you can understand how it works. It gets you into Dr. Wallace's text, thinking about categories. It forces you to think on your feet about how it works within the context of the passage. So I would encourage you to look at Study Guide 1 and 2 very carefully so you can kind of see how they work. And then the only one that you have to do by the end of this week that's for a grade is Study Guide number 3. You should be in good shape. It's going to be one of the simpler study guides, but it will drive you to go back to Dr. Wallace's text and to think about what you've read and to distinguish between different categories within that particular passage. In NT 5104, we are this week working on the validation paper. Now, this is a pretty important assignment. I mentioned to you last week that validation is kind of the bread and butter of what we do in exegesis. And so we have some very specific instructions about how to do the validation paper. If you go to the assignment page, you can see I tell you exactly which problem you are to work on. I tell you exactly how the paper should be designed. And let me encourage you, in the body, I want a very clear presentation of the different views and then pro and con evidence for each. That's a very important requirement. And you have to use at least 5 of the commentaries listed in the syllabus as potential commentaries for this class, because this is kind of a research assignment. This is when exegesis becomes a research project, when you look up information, find evidence, and put it all together. So let me know what questions you have, but this is when you take what we have learned about how validation works and really put it into practice on this particular assignment. In NT 5110, we are currently in the section on canon of the New Testament. This is actually one of my favorite sections of the course. I find this a very intriguing topic. But what I want to point out to you is that this module is 2 weeks long. Because you have a research paper bibliography that you have to turn in. Now, this research paper bibliography is different than others that you have done because we are going to ask you to include primary sources as well as secondary and tertiary. On the assignment page, I talk through what those are, how to find them, etc. And so please read this very, very carefully. And then, of course, you can contact me if you've got any questions. We've got a little bit more time to do this. You have 2 weeks because it's a different kind of research than what you are used to. But please take note of this and recognize that it's not just going to be books you get from the library website. It's going to be primary sources, and you actually have to include the quotations from the primary sources you are going to use. So this is different. Please read this and let me know if you have questions. Okay, now because I'm going to be going on vacation this week, next Monday we will not have a weekly video update. But as I said, you can email me questions and I'll check email once or twice while I'm gone, and I will answer them at that time. But I will be back in the saddle on Thursday, June 22nd, and I look forward to answering questions and dialoguing with you then. And I hope you have a great time until then. And until then, I'll be headed out west. Take care and have a great day.